The high school rulebook states
this is why we fight about this, by the way, is because nobody really understands this.
Dribble ends when A, the dribbler catches or causes the ball to come to rest in one or both hands.
Okay.
B, the dribbler palms or carries the ball by allowing it to come to rest in one hand. C, the dribbler simultaneously touches the ball with both hands. In FIBA, it's pretty much the same thing, except with a few additions, notably that the ball comes to rest in the dribbler's hands, even for a brief moment. And lastly, the NBA. Again, who knows? And that's only the first problem of a...
All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope you all are having a good day so far. So I can't remember now if this one was suggested to me or not, but I definitely want to check this one out. This is simply titled "Basketball is Broken and the Refs Don't Care" from a channel called The Mid-Range, and I'm really interested in this one. Honestly, I just skimmed through about the first like 30 seconds of it. Seems like a legit video, and yeah, I'm looking forward to watching this with you guys in just a second here. Before we do that, I'm linking the original video down below in the description box, like I always do. There you'll see a list of channel members. Shout out channel members. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's get right to this because I'm sure it's going to be one of those where there's a lot to talk about, like in all the sections of the video. So let's just get right to it. We know the NBA's got problems, so nothing to say on the intro. We'll get to each point individually. Guys, if you want to help this video in the YouTube algorithm, hit that like button for me. It helps out a lot. And hit that hype button if you see it. That also does some stuff, I think. So, all right, guys, let's do this.
This is a travel. This is a carry.
Yep. Palming.
And this is basketball in 2025.
Yeah.
Seriously, what has happened to the beautiful game of basketball that I grew up playing? Sure, I get that the game has evolved and rule changes that favor flair are inevitable, but you cannot sit there and tell me that you're enjoying this current trend of basketball in America and also think that we're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, I do not.
It's one thing that the NBA allows for a pretty egregious interpretation of the rules, but the fact that we're literally teaching this to young athletes, it's baffling to me.
What?
Dude, how is this a carry? How is this a carry?
Is this your idea of evolution and players being more skilled? And before you say,
bro, you just gotta grow with the times and you just gotta move on as the game evolves.
No, I don't.
It's wild because when you see footage of like, I'd say pre-1980 NBA, when, you know, before like, I would say Isaiah was the first one to start the palming a little bit. Tim Hardaway took it to another level. AI blew the door open, and now we're in a bad place. We're in a really dark place when it comes to palming. But it's funny when I see younger people watch older footage, like say a game from the 70s, and how their hand is flat, flush with the ball, just dribbling up and down, and they're like, oh man, these guys got no handles. No, you don't understand. That's the rule. Like everything above that, like if you put your hand on the side of the ball and dribble, that's a violation. Do you want to put your hand underneath the ball like we see nowadays? That's an obvious violation. So it's not that they couldn't dribble, it's that they could dribble so good that they could dribble within the rules and still get it done. Flat dribbling.
I've already done a video on social media influencers and the impact they've had on the game of basketball, but today I want to focus in on one particular aspect that I believe, if gone unchecked, could be catastrophic for the sport as a whole. Or maybe not, who knows? The first thing we have to address is the evil, unholy, God-forsaken, mythological gather step.
Oh,
so go ahead. Gather around.
Oh, no.
This wretched...
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. This is in every video that I call out travels, this is the most like dicey thing right here, the gather step. I'll get a whole bunch of people debating with me in the comments. It's not a travel, it's a gather. You can do this. You can take 2 + 1, blah, 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 blah. Well, let's do a little deep dive here, huh? Let's see what he has to say about this.
Beast has haunted me and the rest of the world for the past decade and is 90% of where all issues around traveling come from. Before we get too far, it's important to understand that different levels of basketball have their own different sets of rules. Literally the worst idea ever.
Yeah,
just make a universal set of rules that can filter from the top down. That way we can all be on the same page.
I agree. And at this point, we might want to just move to Olympic standards. Whatever the Olympic rules are, we might want to just do that. The only problem is the amount of time per game. That can probably be negotiated. But as far as the rule set goes, I think it should be the same thing as it is in global play.
Guess that would be too simple, so I don't know, me, I guess. So when we're talking about these issues, I'm going to do my best to talk about which rules are relevant in specific leagues, but typically the conversation revolves around FIBA rules, high school rules, and NBA rules. Now, back to the gather step. The gather is defined as a step that a player has taken after they've gained control of the dribble. Well, in the NBA and FIBA anyways, because you know what? There is no gather step in high school. This is one of the biggest issues I see with this style of content. 90% of the players watching these videos are either high school players or below, and unfortunately, once the player gains control of the basketball...
Did you guys see what I just saw on the right? Like... Look at this.
Either high school players or below.
Like, the left is obviously your pivot. You're rotating around. And then
unfortunately, once the player gains control of the basketball, the next step will count towards their legal movement limit, which means in high school, you can control the ball and effectively take one step while that's happening and one more as your pivot foot. In FIBA, you can gather the ball and then effectively take 3 steps, the 0 step and then 2 after. In the NBA, who knows, right? Yeah. And if you thought that the gather step madness stopped there, oh my sweet child, you have a lot to learn. One of the main contentions of the gather step is that it's very difficult to discern when it's actually occurring or people are being intentionally obtuse.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, this is a pretty tough rule to understand the technicalities of, especially in real time, but there has to be some form of good faith explanation when it comes to understanding these rules. Otherwise, it turns into what we have now, which is basically...
I know.
So here's my issues with determining when the gather occurs. When looking at the steps, once the ball is in a controlled position, most players and coaches would be able to accurately identify if a move is a travel. The difficulty comes in determining when the dribble actually ends. For example, if I told you that the dribble ended right here on this frame, then we would all be able to count the steps and easily determine the legality of the move. But if I told you the dribble technically ended here, then this same example would have 2 very different outcomes.
Can you see that again?
Different outcomes.
Because he stepped right as the ball hit his hand. So, okay, that's fair. That's fair. What does it mean? Is it when the last dribble takes place or when the last dribble is secured?
Which tells me that people aren't generally confused about the gather step rule, but more so determining when the dribble actually ends. And also each league's interpretation of that very rule. And I don't blame them. The high school rule book states that...
This is why we fight about this, by the way, is because nobody really understands this.
Dribble ends when A, the dribbler catches or causes the ball to come to rest in one or both hands. B, the dribbler palms or carries the ball by allowing it to come to rest in one hand. C, the dribbler simultaneously touches the ball with both hands. In FIBA, it's pretty much the same thing, except with a few additions, notably that the ball comes to rest in the dribbler's hands, even for a brief moment. And lastly, the NBA. Again, who knows? And that's only the first problem of a much larger epidemic, because the next culprit is all the egregious carrying. While it's true that most leagues here in America have become incredibly lax with the carry violation, it doesn't mean that we should be learning it at the foundational level or that we should be told that it's legal to begin with. It's not legal to put your hand underneath the ball while you're dribbling it or to palm the basketball, even if you do get away with it.
Yeah, I don't. Here's the deal. I don't know 100%, but I've never seen anything where the official rules have changed on this. I just seen a difference in how the refs are calling it. But I've never seen that the rules dictate that basically you can dribble with your hand underneath the ball now, because that's like a blatant carry job.
I break games down all the time over on the second channel, and I can promise you, this is happening way too much.
Yep.
Now I know influencers like to promote pocket dribbles, but one could say
like that's I mean, that's literally training somebody how to travel.
they're getting a bit too carried away with it.
Yeah, because dribble's supposed to be a motion, a up and down motion. It's not dribble, catch. Hold on, wait, I'll just show you with the video.
Way too much. Now
Watch,
I know
okay, so he's gonna dribble and then he's gonna catch and then rotate around, then back forward, dribble, catch, rotate around. No. The second you catch the ball and you stop that dribble, it's over. You can't dribble again. That's a double dribble.
Influencers
So look,
like to promote
up,
pocket dribbles.
double dribble, up,
But one
double
could
dribble,
say
up,
they're getting
double
a bit
dribble. You can't do this. This is not allowed in the rules.
too carried away with it.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
As we looked at earlier, the dribble ends when the ball comes to rest in one or both hands. And this is the part that people are getting away with more and more.
Yes, the ball is obviously in rest. Yeah, you're resting it, you're cradling it, you're putting it behind your back, and then you're back on the ground. No way, dude.
Yes, pocketing and having the ball in your hands for more
That's a
time
rest.
is ideal, but being able to get by your defender without carrying or manipulating the rules is essential if you're looking to have a long, successful career in basketball. Being able to find success using the fundamentals means that if you're in a league where the referees are actually letting you get away with carries or violations, then that just becomes icing on the cake. But it shouldn't be what you have to rely on for your success. I'm a testament to this very topic, and I'm sure every single person that played against me overseas is punching a wall right now talking about what a hypocrite I am. I definitely got away with my fair share of carries and travels while I played, but I'm advocating that young people understand there's a difference in using the rules to your advantage when they're available, but not building your game off of these unpredictable outliers. Trainers, coaches, referees, and league organizers should also stop normalizing this because it's setting our young people up for failure. Getting away with 1 to 2 carries a game is completely different than spending hours and hours practicing a move that's literally illegal in the league that you're playing.
Agreed.
For example, Dev in the Lab. I think you're by far one of the very best basketball content creators of all time. But this little sub-zero move of yours is the bane of my coaching existence. Now, obviously, this one particular example isn't ruining basketball on its own, but it goes to show how much we've normalized and made cared.
Do you see the ball come to a rest? Because I sure do. I sure do. Good catch. Okay, so ball, it can't come to a rest. After that, that's it. You're stuck with a pivot and figure out a way to get a shot or get the ball out of your hands. You can't dribble. What you cannot do is dribble again.
To show how much we've normalized and
rest. Oh, he even leaned it against his body to chill for a second, like he's a running back. It's a wrong sport. That's American football.
He's kind of mainstream. Hesitations and moves can be done without the carry, and that's why it frustrates me even more.
Yeah.
But hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, I guess. I don't know. Anyways, it's time for everyone's favorite speed run segment. This time brought to you by Man to Sleep. All right, quick timeout before our speed run, but there's one thing that I need after 400 hours of watching egregious travels and carries without a whistle. It's a nap, but not just any nap. I'm talking about a pro nap. That's what Manta Sleep is all about. The pro nap movement. Their masks are designed with a premium feel, fully adjustable eye cups, and blackout comfort so you can actually fall asleep fast, stay asleep, and wake up recharged. No light sneaking in, no awkward pressure on your face, just pure nap greatness. And trust me, if you're going to be debating the gather step for 3 straight hours, you need one of these bad boys to recover.
You know, I had a period of my life where I was just not sleeping at all, and this did help. This did help. Not specifically Manta Sleep, but something like this actually did help me for a couple of weeks.
So, do me a favor, go to mantasleep.com, use my code for 10% off, and join the pro nap movement. Because the only step that I'll never call a travel is stepping into a nap. Thanks again to Manta Sleep for sponsoring this video, and let's speed run some travels.
By the way, I may have done a disservice here. I forgot to mention, I think, in the beginning, the mid-range is the name of the channel, you guys.
Sponsorship me. I mean, it's obvious why the referee didn't call this one. It's clearly in 13 pixels, so legal. Oh, this one's a classic right here. This is from NBA 2K14. People are going to tell you the video games aren't realistic, but this is exactly what they allow in the NBA.
Yeah, that
so
is real.
Legal in my opinion. I remember seeing this on Shacked in a Fool years ago. There's a common misconception here. Everyone thinks that dirt is traveling. What they're not understanding is his kneecaps are actually disintegrating before our very eyes. That's what's really happening. So legal. Oh, this is
I love dirt, but that is a wild one right there. That's like 3 travels. Okay, what's going on here? Let me back it up.
Actually disintegrating before our very eyes. That's what's really happening. So legal. Oh, this is the classic. If it ends in a dunk or a highlight play, you don't call it. So yeah, completely legal. You know how referees, especially the ones online, will say, if you're not...
Dudes think we're playing football too much these days. You know, they grab the ball and then they just like hold it close to their body. Like it's the wrong sport.
Gaining an advantage, we're not going to call it. I guess technically he's not gaining an advantage. I think you still got to call that.
Yeah, hey, you got to call it.
So legal. The worst part about this one is you can argue that it's legal only because how people are so comfortable with saying if the ball is in your hand and still spinning, it doesn't count as a gather, just because he could at any moment put the ball back on the ground. So
we can't be taking 20 steps in between dribbles and saying, well, I never stopped the possession. No, that's an exploit. We used to play by the rules of like, it was basically 2 steps per dribble. And that was at the most, you know what I mean? We would still get called for a travel most of the time. So if we took say we're driving to the paint, we take a dribble with our right, we're going to the right. So dribble with the right, we take 1, 2, you better elevate on that 2. Because if you back out of that and you dribble again after that 2, 99 out of 100 times you're getting called for a travel. But now we're talking 3 and 4 steps in between dribbles? I don't think so.
The issue of like, where does the gather actually begin? But either way, NBA, so legal. Again, very similar play. Where does he actually gather the ball? If you're at any other level, FIBA included, they're most likely just going to call this a travel. NBA, legal. Looking into the future here, this is the NBA, so it's going to be legal. But let's see what we got.
2, 3, 1, 2, travel. 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. Oh 7. Man, he's still moving.
8, nice. NBA plus.
He never dribbled. All of those steps with the ball, and he never dribbled once. It's disgusting.
So, double legal. Oh, this one's another classic. Love it.
3.
I don't know how this happens so often in the NBA.
What's his pivot foot? Can you guys show me where his pivot foot is? Okay, let's look at the left first.
Oh, this one's another classic.
Okay, not the left. Let's look at the right now. Does he keep it planted?
Love it. I don't know how this happens so often in the NBA.
This is like 10 travels. Jesus Christ. This is so bad. This is what kills me when I watch basketball, is just looking at these dudes' feet. And it's like, how are the refs not seeing this? I know they have to be seeing this. Why aren't they calling it?
It's baffling to me, and it's just funnier when it doesn't get called. Yeah, my eyes are burning. So, why does any of this matter? Mainly, I'm a massive hater that saw one too many rage bait posts online, and I've never been able to recover. I first noticed this a couple years ago whenever I posted a video on Threads of a player jumping from behind the 3-point line and shooting a layup. It was one of my very first posts on Threads, and to this day, it's my most popular one by far.
Well, I think I've seen that video, actually, because that sparked an interesting question. Yeah, because if you jump behind the 3-point line and then you shoot a layup, you know, like you land like inside the free throw line, that's still technically a 3-point shot, right? Because it matters where your feet are planted. What I realized is actually how easy it is to rage bait people online and basically engagement farm and cause dumb arguments, but not really solve the problem or have an honest conversation. Since that wasn't my intent, I decided not to go down that pathway of audience capture, which we talk about a lot. And instead, one of the reasons I decided to make this very channel, to hopefully better educate the basketball community and offer some semblance of normal conversation other than, you dumb mother effer, you don't know the rules and you've probably never played organized basketball, go eat a brick. Yes, that's an actual comment that I received for thinking that jumping behind the 3-point line and shooting a layup before you touch the ground is worth 3 points.
I actually think it is worth 3 points.
Because in every other metric that we use when it comes to what is a 3-point shot or not, I mean, look at the Kevin Durant toe hitting the line thing. It depends on if you jump from behind the line. It's where your feet are when you go up in the air before you take that shot. So if you jump, but you jump forward, but you take off from behind the 3-point line, anything that happens after that should be a 3-point shot, as long as the ball goes in. But yeah, I feel you, man, with the angry comments. I'm probably gonna get so many of them for this video, and it's funny. I don't care. There's gonna be like 50 people saying you don't know shit about basketball. It's all right. You know what? The rules are so broken in the NBA. Neither do you.
Also, I'm allergic to bricks. The majority of content online around this subject are basically posts like these. Ones that you can point to an NBA player or a skills coach using an illegal move and getting away with it and telling you gotta add it to your bag.
Hold on, I gotta watch this again. I gotta watch this again. Okay, which doesn't count as any steps. Okay, yeah, he got me on this.
So I'm allergic to bricks. The majority of content online around this
he was doing a check ball, right? So if someone's checking you the ball and you're gonna do it 360 in the air, I mean, I think that's okay.
The majority
check
of
ball. Whoop.
Content online
so
around this
stupid.
subject are basically posts like these.
I don't think that's a violation, though, because you wouldn't do a check ball in an organized game of basketball anyways. That's a one-on-one situation. That is just so funny. Okay, let me see the other one now. Then I dribble into a misdirection.
That you can point to an NBA player or a skills coach using an
no, you cannot do that. You cannot do that in the middle of a dribble, dude. A turnaround freaking zero step
illegal move and getting away with it and telling you gotta add it to your bag. Or maybe you post a video online about a very controversial play and then act like people are literal idiots for having a different interpretation for when the gather actually happens. It's just the perfect catalyst for rage baiting people into engagement. You can find clips of players getting away with insane things on the basketball court, but we shouldn't be.
Oops.
You can find clips of players getting away with insane things on the basketball court, but we shouldn't be using the exceptions as the rules. Claiming to be making things more simple and helping people play within the rules is actually the exact opposite of what's happening. You're farming engagement and you're calling people mentally handicapped if they disagree with you in the comments.
Sounds like 2025. Sounds like what it is. Shit, we don't know how to talk anymore. We lost the ability to have conversations and disagreements. It's like if this dude's saying something I don't agree with, man, it's just, I don't even want to say the words, man. It's terrible. It's terrible, the stuff that I read.
Shoutouts to MDW. No, I'm not slow just because I think the gather step should be applied a little bit more strictly. I really just think there are better ways for us to have these conversations rather than what's currently happening online. And I do think MDW is elite at what he does and actually does know more about footwork and basketball rules than most people in the world. But when you're unwilling to be challenged or possibly be wrong in the comments of the videos, it just makes it really hard to push these conversations forward in a positive way. Most times you look in the comments and people are walking away even more confused than they were before or just angry. And as always, to any of you that I mention in these videos, always happy to have a conversation. Anyways, since the NBA is the only league in the world that plays so fast and loose with its rule interpretations, it makes it so much more difficult for young players to understand what's relevant to them and how they can apply that to their high school or college levels. In high school, if you pick the ball up and then take 2 steps, you're more than likely going to be called for a travel. I don't care what any viral video says. If you pick up the ball and then come to a 1-2 stop and then you lift up your pivot foot, yeah, you're likely going to be called for a travel.
Sir.
If you take 6 steps with a hang dribble and then you gather into a shot attempt or a layup, yeah, you're likely going to be extradited to China because of the Great Wall and all the steps. Why did that somehow feel racist?
It did. It started out like a racist joke. You turned it around, man. You recovered. That was a good one.
Going forward, I'd like to challenge all basketball content creators to be mindful of all the things we're posting in regards to rules and encourage healthy debates and conversations. That's how people actually learn. Not just telling them they're dumb for disagreeing, but actually having enough perspective.
I'm curious real quick. After making, because I know how this goes. So after making a plea to have a real conversation instead of just like, you know, rage attacking each other, I'm curious what's going on in the comments here. Let's do this. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Not hate. Oh, it's working. Agreed, bro. Okay. Good. Wow. Wait, you are maybe 0.5% basketball coaches. I didn't get that. Okay. This ain't bad. It's actually not bad. It kind of worked. People were civil.
To understand, if this many people still don't know the rules around traveling and carrying, maybe the rules are too ambiguous and we should advocate for a change. Seriously, Adam Silver, consider making the league rules more in line with every other league in the world. I'm kidding. Because if there's one thing that the NBA hates more than defense, it's common sense. I want to give a huge thanks to all my channel members over here and also over on the second channel. Obviously, all of the Patreon members and to our founder, Butch, and all of our mid-range masters. You guys are the reason I'm actually able to make all these videos, and I really appreciate it. And now this has become a full-time job for me. So I appreciate you guys. And yeah, hopefully you enjoy, and let me know what you think about the carries and the travels down below and what you think our next video should be on. Thanks, guys.
I mean, to cut through all of the fat here, I mean, obviously, I see the same problems. I've been complaining about it for a long time. I think a lot of us have. It's getting old. Nothing is changing. It's not getting any better. Yes, at this point, I would like to just migrate over to FIBA rules. The NBA used to lead the charge when it comes to the rule book, as, you know, this was like our game, essentially. But now we've lost control. We made it too easy, too lenient. So it's time. It's so funny how this works too. Now, you know, Europe used to be the one that was too lenient with basketball, you know, way too lenient with the calls, and now it's us. So now I'd rather us merge to like Euro rules or FIBA rules because they're more in line with true basketball and what it's supposed to be. They actually enforce the rules. So yeah, bottom line, that's where I'm landing on this, is I think keep it 48 minutes, but let's just inherit the rules of FIBA, including the no offensive goaltending. I think that's fun. That'll be a cool switch. You know, why not? I don't see anything wrong with it. So that's what I think we should do. That way, every 4 years when we're in the Olympics, we're ready. You know what I mean? We know what the rules are. We've been playing with those rules for years, and there's no discrepancy. You can't say like, oh, EuroLeague is better than the NBA because they actually call travels and they don't let these guys just like do whatever they want on the court. It would balance out basketball, and then it's just about like who's the best league as far as who's got the best teams and players, like it used to be. That's all I gotta say about it, guys. The footage in here made me want to puke, in a very humorous way, but man, the things that people are getting away with now, it's like we couldn't get away with 1/4 of this, you know, and we wouldn't even be mad. We'd be mad at ourselves, like, you know, why did I lift my pivot? You know, we know better than this. Anyways, I am out of here, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this one. Yeah, like the vid if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. Go check out the Mid-Range YouTube channel if you liked what you saw here. Link is down below in the description. And if you like to support my channel, please hit that subscribe plus button. And you know, most importantly, is to be water, my friends.